So hello everyone and welcome back to another video of F1 2019. So first of all, you would have seen a little bit of snippets of Formula 1's gameplay from Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault, which we knew about a couple of weeks ago, but the screenshot of the game was actually so bad that I couldn't actually include it in any game. But nevertheless, we're going to start with, and also there's our Formula 2 gameplay. So Codemasters, of course, didn't send me this gameplay. I had to pinch it from somebody else. So I've left links to the people that have put this gameplay on YouTube. This is all from YouTube. So go, if you want to go and see the full gameplay, which I believe they got full laps of as well on in their videos, which, depending on how much of a ramble this is, probably will have full laps potentially, but without the game sounds, because of course I'm talking over them and I don't want. I'd rather have a little bit of snippet. So yes, I'm going to start with now. First of all, Codemasters haven't announced a damn thing. Okay, there's no blog post at all. This is all from other websites that I've been looking at. Now, this first one you've got to is from Polygon.com. And basically, it's got a it's got a lot of stuff in with a lot of quotes. But anyway, the F1. I'll read you this thing from their website. The F1 video game series has been very heavy in its progression, as opposed to building out of a driver. Even though last year's games had a more role-playing choice and a fleshed out and the rivalry structure, the true upgrading lane, the R&D portion of the game, and that's all on the car, of course. F1 2018 did at mid-year contract negotiations and team transfers for drivers. For your driver, I should clarify that. But doing so effectively abandoned any work be put into a vehicle, making it mainly an aesthetic role. With F2, players should put a little bit more time into proving themselves as a young driver. F1 2018 sort of assumes the player came out of the team's junior squad as a hotshot talent before getting thrown to the wolves in the top series. And then it also goes on to this last paragraph that I'll include. With the inclusion of F2, the Codemasters game should find out what its NASCAR counterpart has over the past 2 years. That's the easiest way to give in depth something that's pretty much nailed in the gameplay, is to add more layers of competition to the career mode. 704 games NASCAR heat out the Xfinity 6 Series and Camping World Trucks in 2017, including a hot seat portion of the driver's career, and a fleshed that out further with a fictitious dirt track series last year, and having 4 series to manage concurrently if so desired. So yes, if F1, I haven't played the NASCAR games. I last played a NASCAR game back in 2004 on the PS2, so a long time ago. Since I played a NASCAR game, obviously it's going to be a lot different now. So maybe I should actually I might go and have a look and see if they're actually done, because they've added the junior series. So if F1 is copying NASCAR, that begs to differ. That's a little bit interesting. If they see in NASCAR as their main competition, then maybe we need to go and check what NASCAR has been developing, and then we can see what potentially we could have Formula 1 in a few years' time. So I'll definitely go and do that and add a few if there's anything new that NASCAR have added when they release their game. Obviously, their game will come out later in the year, I think. Don't quote me on that. Then we'll be able to see what has been added. So that's the first thing. The next one comes from the checkerflag.co.uk, which again is the which is going to be looks like the main thing for the main article for this career mode. I won't include it. I'll include the image that they've got at the top, because I want to point out something. If you squint at Lando Norris's McLaren, the number 4, the orange McLaren, you can see that there is no a Better Tomorrow sponsor, as is of course the case on the Ferrari, because of course those two are both cigarette sponsors, but they have included the Sport Pezza logo, which is a betting sponsor. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, betting is just as much a disease to this world as smoking, but obviously F1 has different regulations. Well, they have got another website there. I'm not sure what, because I haven't actually seen an F1 race at all this year, so I'm not sure what they've actually got on the back. Force India Racing Point. So yeah. But anyway, there's obviously the Anyway, so I'm going to start with this. New details were revealed for their preview event in Hamburg in Germany this week. Selected journalists and publications got the opportunity to play the preview copy of the game, which hence how this gameplay's come out. An all-new highlight reel, which I've already announced in that the video I did earlier in the week. So yes, moving on. So obviously Formula 2 is a thing. Now they've specified here when they're going to take Formula 2 from, because obviously there's lots of driver transfers in Formula 2, and basically they've taken it from the Russian Grand Prix round, which sees Nico Kari, which I think Nico Kari was spotted earlier on. That's why he's there. He's going to be in Formula 2, because I'm not sure if he did that race, if he only did one race or not, but I don't think he definitely didn't do the full season. Roberto Merri, I think, switched teams. Obviously, he's pretty much the only driver ever to get rejected from F1 and go back to Formula 2. Obviously, we know that the 2019 stuff is going to be thing, but everything will be added fully from the game, including practice, the qualifying, the 2 races, mandatory pit stop, the correct point systems, and points for pole and fastest lap. Obviously, Cody's will have a little bit of practice for fastest lap points, because they're in Formula 1 this year, so hopefully that will get added as well. Now, there's news here about the integration of Formula 2. Formula 2 will be integrated into the new career mode as a starting point for the player's career in Formula 1. This is an option if the player doesn't want to start in F1 straight away. And the next bit is what is the interesting bit. The player will choose which team they want to start with F2 careers, as well for the first time which F1 Drivers Academy they want to be part of. Now, that's not well, I say F1 Drivers Academy. Of course, they've, in the past, when we had young driver tests, you got to choose the team you wanted to test for. But yes, F1 Drivers Academies is something that we've been streaming about forever, and be able to have those contractor drivers potentially. What we could see is somebody from that driver academy, like for example the Mercedes Academy. They've got George Russell, Esteban Ocon, and a couple of other drivers. Ferrari got Mick Schumacher. They got Antonio Fuoco, who's their test driver, and a couple of etc. etc. You get the idea. Those drivers potentially could move into Formula One because they're contracted to Ferrari or Mercedes. So yes, the inclusion of Drivers Academy opens the door for the players to earn offers from F1 teams connected with this certain academy. Affiliated teams, something that I was saying in my in Formula Motorsport, F1 Twitter question. I'll leave a link to that video as well in the description. I'll go and check him out. He does his I Ask Twitter. Go and follow him on Twitter. He asks Twitter questions and asks people to get their opinion, and then basically rounds up them into a video, which is quite a nice series. So yes, go and check them out. Apologies for my answer being about half the video, but I did warn him, but he was warned. But there we go. So yes, for example, affiliated teams. So let's make this clear. Back in 2016, if you were driving for Toro Rosso and you had an offer from a team to change a team, you would get an offer to go and drive for Red Bull, and you'd be first driver. Now, obviously, I don't think that's correct, but it was the idea was correct. Now, of course, in 2018 they introduced contract perks, and I think rather than have been first driver, they should have it where the contract you're given, you get better perks based on your previous performance at another team. So let's say if you're moving from Williams to Mercedes, like the answer. Now, hopefully you don't get the choice to go Mercedes straight away, because otherwise that would be the thing. Again, this is just an option. You can pick whatever team you want. But yes, there are driver transfers because there are fictional drivers. There are 2 fictional drivers in the game. So fictional drivers are in the game and will develop a rivalry throughout cutscenes and interactions in the game. Team orders will figure within the rivalry for the first time and create further tension between the 2 characters. Now that's interesting because you could end up being at Mercedes, or you could with one of these characters. But the problem with these 2 characters, the problem with these 2 characters is it's going to be limited, because presumably one of them will probably be your teammate, another one will be like a Sebastian Vettel type of thing with Lewis Hamilton. Rivalries is not just about that in F1, and potentially we'll have to see, but let's hope we have a couple more that was my line arsehole moments, like Lauda and Hunt from Formula 3 right through to Formula 1. Great rivalry. If you haven't seen Rush, yes, as I know, it did depict them as enemies in there, but they were actually friends in real life. Sadly, James Hunt is no longer with us. It's a shame because he's one of the best commentators we've had, along with Murray Walker. Unfortunately, you've got to settle for David Croft and Anthony Davidson. Oh dear. Why do we have David Croft and Anthony Davidson? I hear every time on Twitter there's an F1 race, somebody moans about David Croft's commentary about he's got something wrong. It's why the BBC fired Jonathan Ledyard. It's grief. He now does the comment. He now's on Final Score nowadays, but Anthony Davidson really isn't that good. I mean, I remember when he was on these 3 were on 5 Live. They weren't really that good. Nowadays we've got Jack Nicholls, who does the Formula E commentary as well as Formula 1. There's an incredible lot. Jack Nicholls. I think having him in the Formula 1 game would be epic. instead of Croft, and David Coulthard definitely to replace Anthony Davidson. And maybe, just maybe, for a classic race, we could see Murray Walker come back. I know we're not going to see, sadly, what's his name, James Hunt, but potentially Jonathan Palmer, who replaced Hunt back in the 90s, or I don't know, somebody, Martin Brundle, come along with him. Potentially see a different commentary team. We're definitely going to see F2 different commentary team, because we're going to have Alex Jack and David Valzeschi, the Italian, the one that did the F1 esports. For those of you who don't watch Formula 2 because you don't have access to it because it's on Sky. So yes, big news. Driver transfers are there for fictional drivers only. I should stress that. So don't dislike the video, please, just because I've put fictional drivers, just because I've put driver transfers, excuse me, in the title. I need all the views I can get, okay? My name is not Arava. Arava just puts clickbait titles in because he can, and he knows he can get away with it. I actually need the views on this channel. So yes, F1 2019 cars and season. For the F1 side of the game, not much has changed. All 21 tracks on F1 2018 has returned, replicating the 2019 calendar in real life. Obviously, we've got stuff like this, which I'll skip through because they've improved the lighting and handling model, which it's definitely better. In that nighttime gameplay of Ricardo, I couldn't really spot too much between. I couldn't really tell too much in the. It was a sharper image of the gameplay of Lando Norris, but again, that's also, those two were 4K videos. I imagine there'll be an increase, but definitely see they've made improvements to the nighttime game, but I don't think that it didn't look like there's too much difference in the daytime fix in these sort of sunset races. I mean, they wouldn't need to change anything over because sunset looked. Sunset actually in F1 2018 was actually quite nice, as you see in F1 eMod. So yes, they've added an help guide explaining concepts such as DRS, tyre rules, expected, helping new players heading out onto the track. I disagree with these videos. I think they should have like a training school that tells you how to use DRS, and then lets the video. Lets the first time the player then get used to how to operate this thing rather than just being thrown in the deep end. But we will have on-screen graphics integrated into the game. So that means if you are in TCAM mode, that means you get the on-screen graphics, ERS lights as well, and new Pirelli tyres. Obviously, we've heard about online and multiplayer as well. That obviously this article from the Checkered Flag is really good. It goes on to about multiplayer. There's obviously a league search, so you can go and search for leagues, which is if you are somebody who's looking for just an assist league or something like that. You want a simple league that is driven to what a league that you want to attend to. Then that can help Obviously, Super License has been expanded, as I've mentioned in the earlier video that I did earlier this week, with theatre mode. But I'll read you now. I should stress, online replays hasn't been confirmed. It says in this article from the Checkered Flag, online replays aren't confirmed. Definitely though, for theatre mode, it's definitely coming to Grand Prix offline, basically modes, apart from time trial. There have been reports over updates relating to the multiplayer code to bid to improve performance and connectivity. Partial problems, well, I wouldn't call them partial problems, I call them complete failures. But, as rightly said, I know Codemasters are trying to do the best job they can. They are under-resourced. They need more resources, basically, but they don't have the money. So yes, I've said before that Codemasters, that F1 need to give them more support, or maybe another developer comes and helps Codemasters out in the areas that they can't develop themselves, like a cross collaboration thing. But obviously, skins and designs, etc., for multiplayer is already coming. Now, I have some news. There is something in the article about the Senna v Prost Legends, those, and the scenario modes. Now, as far as this article is aware, they went to the what they saw at the event in Hamburg. The early indication about the mode presented was an overtake scenario. Really? Where the last cars was depending on Senna or Prost. Was Senna or Prost depending on the player's choice? We don't want to see that. I want to see 8 different scenarios where it's a race, where you got to, it's based on something that potentially could have happened in the past, like you've fallen down 5 positions, Senna's leading the Grand Prix, you're as Prost, you've got to overtake your race and you've only got 10 laps left to go, but you're on a fresh set of tyres, something like that, rather than just having those simple overtake modes. But so yes, we're yet to see what the other 7 modes, but if they're on like the classic modes, the other classic cars modes, invitational events, then it's just going to go down the drain. So yes, it's still in development. So yes, we've only got a month and a bit to go. So but they also announced that 2 more classic cars will be added into the roster to celebrate 10 years of F1 2019. Although they don't say I don't say if that. I think they're referring to the McLaren MP4 and Ferrari F10. So I don't expect any more classic cars to be announced. And they finally summed it up, saying it's the most ambitious F1 title. Then it's good to see that we're seeing Formula 2 driver academies as well, well detailed and stunning. It's and close to real life with the graphics. There are concerns about the classic content with Senna and Prost and how they will display this. Hopefully this game reaches close towards its release date. We'll learn more details about it. Hopefully we get to see customized liveries, avatars. Not really sure. whether or not how that fully is going to be integrated or not. So yes, I've pretty much gone on for about 25 minutes now. I didn't mean to go on so long, but obviously there's a lot of stuff to take in there from that one article there, which you can read for yourself, of course, in the description below. Also, go and check out the Formula 1, Formula 2 gameplay. There's full laps available via the links in the description below. But yes, I'm going to leave it there. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, see more F1 2019 game knows as and when it's announced. Until the next video, ask next time, take care, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below as well, and goodbye.